Welcome, everyone. We're very excited to have you here today. My name is Siwar. I'm Nalafem coordinator. Very happy to be here today and really, really happy to have you all either as attending to see and to sneak a peek on our new milestone of Nalafem collective strategy, 5-year strategy, or as honorable speakers who are here today to give few words and endorse the strategy. And we're really, really honored to have an amazing panel of speakers join us today. So we will be so just to show like what the table of content of today, we will have some opening words from the founder, Ms. Aya Chebbi, she's here. And then we will talk about a bit about what is Nalafem, for those who don't know it, and for also people who are know us and want to know more. Then we will go to talk about our theory of change. What do we want to achieve? So what are our strategic goals for these 5 years to come? And then how we will make a difference. So what are our projects? And then we will give the floor to our amazing speakers to give few words after this. So just to show the panel, hopefully we will have our speakers, I'm sure we still have some like joining us online. Hopefully we will have them in a few minutes if we don't have all of the speakers right now. But we have an amazing panel of amazing leaders, feminist leaders, women's rights organizations. So we're really, really excited and proud to have this panel here today. And we will go after details to see one by one who are our speakers. We will go now to give the floor to Ms. Aya Chebbi. Aya, welcome.
I hope you can hear me. My internet is failing me today.
We can.
Yeah?
We can. Yeah,
okay.
we can.
Awesome. Welcome to Nala Feminist Collective. Thank you for joining us today as we mark another milestone for Nalafem, the launch of our 5-year strategy, 2023-2027. I think the team will drop it in the chat soon. But I mean, my welcoming is really a vote of thanks because your support means a lot to us. Thanks Twebese for coming to say a few words about our collaboration. The Children's Investment Fund Foundation is the first and main funder that believed in Nala's mission and innovation. We didn't also have always all the answers. We're not an NGO. As a movement and as a collective, we need time to figure things out. So whoever is working with us should recognize the moving nature of movements because sometimes it's not about issue-based funding as much as it's about building power within. I see also Janice, who has been a great supporter. I hope to see more donors willing to fund those of us who are organizing in unconventional ways and actually challenging power and the status quo. I also see Purity. Thank you for being here. Purposeful, another partner that we value for our shared vision for girls' rights and for also your flexible funding. Malala Fund and Crystal, thank you for your support because I think it's more than financial. It's about South-South solidarity, and solidarity and feminist sisterhood is one of our core values as a collective. Rita, thank you for being here. We look forward to CSW. I was a few weeks ago with Ambassador Bahous in Tanzania, and really exciting collaborations, I think, coming up. And so many other partners. I mean, without all of your collaborations, we wouldn't be able to also support young feminist organizations on the front line of this work. And actually, since we launched Nalafem in July 2021, we were able to sub-grant $36,000 to 18 organizations. And I'm glad to see Pamela here, one of our grantees, to share and learn from her experience. Thank you to Nalafem Secretariat, the outgoing and incoming teams, to Afrosys team, because behind every vision there is a group of professionals who make things happen and who have the talent and dedication to do so. And finally, a huge thank you to Nala Council. It was very intentional that this is a platform bringing together radical, bold activists with politicians. Not easy, because they are at the far end of two spectrums of influence, and yet so needed to work together to move faster and bolder, the change makers within the system and the change makers outside the system. You will hear more from our council members as well. But this is really the labor of committed feminists, a rigorous process of analyzing, debating, listening, and interrogating how we will make a difference. We have undertaken 10 country missions, 11 council virtual meetings, in-person council retreat in Abuja. And I really mention this because this is not just a document, it's about organizing as feminists. And a lot of work was put into this for the past 18 months. We challenged each other, we reflected on our progress, we consulted, and we came to the realization that we need to double down on our advocacy. And we came to 3 strategic goals: accountability, politics, and socioeconomic powers, which means we must foster accountability on B+25 manifesto, on GEF commitments, on Maputo Protocol, and other instruments. We must embolden African women and girls by investing in their socioeconomic power, and we must mobilize young women to rise into politics and take charge of our continent. What we commit here and today by launching this strategy is that we will work harder and do more with and for African women and girls, ensuring we grow our collective as a multi-generational alliance. And we count on your commitment to engage, to support, to convene with us, to fund this strategy, because coalition work is central to creating systemic change that can transform institutions where, as we know, decisions are made for those who are forced to the margins based on gender, race, age, ability, class, and other factors. So join us on this 5-year journey. I am Nala. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aya. Such a great start. This is very exciting for all of us. And just to give you a bit of idea of what Aya was talking about, we'll go through our presentation of Nala. So who we are. So Nala, and I'm sure most of you know, and very happy that also all of the speakers who have been joining us today, and the ones, our partners who couldn't join us today as well, know very well our brand, and they have also rigorously supported us throughout this journey. So Nala Feminist Collective is a Pan-African front of women leaders in politics and activism with a passion to foster, embolden, and mobilize women and girls from Africa and the diaspora for transformative feminist change. And our journey has been very interesting. It's also unconventional, as I was talking about. We emerged in 2021 from the Africa Young Women Beijing 25 Manifesto, which was developed in consultation with more than 1,500 African youth from 44 countries and over 30 partners under the mandate of Ms. Aya Chebbi as the African Union Special Envoy on Youth. So this manifesto is a groundbreaking feminist political document that sets out critical issues of concern for young women in Africa and makes the demands for addressing them. And we have 10 demands, which these demands we will work hard to align, and it is aligned to our strategy. So this amazing manifesto, or these groundbreaking demands that are very critical to women's rights and women's and girls' rights everywhere, really, but we're focusing on Africa specifically for Nala. We this document was actually the inspiration to our strategy as well, and all of our values. And this was so following, and this document, or this manifesto of the 10 demands that you just saw, was really conducted a very successful campaign. It was signed by a lot of people, among a lot of you who are listening right now. And after the successful campaign, we knew that we needed to take this forward. So Nalafem was officially launched during the Gender Equality Forum in Paris, so in the 1st of July 2021, because we believe that was the perfect moment for us to take this opportunity to fight for these demands and demand these demands through different like tools that we will also uncover during this strategy. So how was it? What was the rationale behind all of this? The problem that we worked on, or just like scrutinized and looked at very closely, was the grassroots and the intergovernmental gap. So we see that there is a lot of activism work from feminists on the ground, and then we also see the intergovernmental policies, and we see that there is a huge gap, and that was the problem that we really wanted to address. There's also generational leadership gap. It's very clear that we see between like young people and then also policymakers who are taking decisions, and that is why also our amazing council members are there to bridge this gap. We also saw the policy and implementation. There is also a huge gap from that. So these are the 3 points of the problems that we really wanted to address. Our vision, we envision the liberation of African women and girls. This is what we work for. This is what we advocate for. This is the vision that we look at every day when we are working. And this is the vision that we share with a lot of our partners who supported us through our journey and will continue to support us as well. The solution that we envision is African feminist leadership organized into collectives to bridge the identified gaps. For our approach, so we use a multi-generational, intersectional, and Pan-African approach to achieve the demands of women and girls. Our mission is a Pan-African front of women, leaders in politics and activism, whose mission is to foster, embolden, and mobilize women and girls from Africa and the diaspora for transformative feminist change. So when we say foster, we want to foster intergenerational co-leadership with greater inclusion of young feminists into decision-making at all levels. Embolden young feminist collective engagement, capacities, and free agency, and mobilize resources, political support, and accountability for the realization of the African Young Women Beijing 25 Manifesto, including all of its 10 demands. Working on the map that we just showed, we stand by very strong values that we defend and we share within all of our works, from the strategy to the implementation. Our values are solidarity. Our solidarity manifests in the values of empathy, feminist sisterhood, and collaboration. We believe that the struggle for one is a struggle for all. We also stand by social justice. We are driven by the sense of fairness and standing for human rights. Dignity, we believe that every African woman and girl has a right to free thought and existence, and that financial freedom is the guarantee. Equity, we recognize that African women and girls are not homogeneous and have the right to be seen, heard, and treated equally, as well as own and control the means of production. And of course, we are decolonial, feminist, Pan-African. We think decolonial, we act Pan-African, and we believe that there is no Pan-Africanism without feminism, really. Our theory of change. So of course we have developed collectively a theory of change that is the base for all of the strategy, and that is we're looking at a cycle for transformation from 2020 to 2030. And this cycle of transformation compromises 4 C's phases. So we have the creation, capacity, change, and consciousness. And during last year, and I think that in 1 year, we've done a lot as a collective, and this is just a promise for amazing things to happen in the next 5 years. And for this 2020, from 2020 to 2021, so NALA was created basically. For 2022, it has been the capacity phase. So we have amazing council members who have joined. We've worked on like just also like engaging now like a secretary of team as well. So we think that now we're ready for change phase, which is 2023, 2027. This is the strategy phase, the strategy that we have developed. Hopefully it will be implemented through this years, and we count on your support, your solidarity as well to make this happen. The phase 4 is consciousness phase. It will happen from 2025 to 2030. So as we've shown in the problem that was scrutinized and we have looked at, definitely the gap between the policies, etc., and the gap also in leadership, intergenerational leadership, and this is like the Africa we live in. So we have been working very closely with African members, African partners, to just understand the context we come from, because we can never design solutions, like concrete solutions, if we don't look very closely to problems. And this is what have come in our analysis. Basically, we have a governance gap, there's violence, and there's generational gap. And this is what we're addressing with the strategy. So what do we want to achieve? What are our goals for this strategy, for this milestone, for this new milestone, 2023, 2027? We have 3 strategic goals that we really count on, and I has mentioned them in her intervention. So we have accountability on Africa Young Women B25 Manifesto. So we're aiming at leading accountability work on the implementation of international, regional, and national instruments and commitments that are key in achieving gender justice, such as the protocol on the 5-year journey of generation equality and the Action Coalition's commitments. The focus of our advocacy is supporting member states to implement B25 Manifesto. As such, Nalafem aims at bridging the gap between policy and implementation, making sure young feminists are at the forefront. So accountability is key. We have already tools and we have advocacy opportunities that gathered feminists from all over the world to say what is important for young women and girls achieving like social justice. How is it? And then for us, it's very important to look at these promises and make sure that we're accountable, and all of the stakeholders are accountable as well for the promises we're making. For our second strategic goal, it is investing in socioeconomic power of African women and girls. So we aim at supporting the work of women and girls in alignment with the 10 demands of the manifesto. Through Nalafem, we undertake strategic interventions to invest in individual and collective actions for gender justice. We provide financial and technical support to ensure girls' financial freedom is key to improving their lives and livelihood. Moreover, we invest in our own collective, council, staff, and network so that we can meet increasing demands of our work. We all know that socioeconomic power is just key. All of you who are following now, we know that without the financial freedom of women, it's just very hard to move to look at all of our demands. So it's very important for us to look at this. The strategic goal is really, really important. So we're investing in our collective. We're also investing in our partners, network, and we're investing in women and girls who have joined this journey. Our third strategic goal is rising young African women into politics. We really aim at advancing substantive representation and increasing the meaningful participation, leadership, and decision-making power of women and girls. We aim to advance gender parity and the inclusion of women who are historically marginalized in all aspects, sectors, and levels of public and economic decision-making, especially in political and governmental institutions, as well as in executive and legislative positions. This will also bridge the generational gap in decision-making and influence policy and practices in philanthropy directed to the feminist agenda. So it's just not important to like advocate for women's rights and girls' rights, but it's also very important to like strengthen your capacity and also like giving the floor for women and girls to defend their own rights, to be in politics where the changes is actually made, to be talking about their own issues and drive the solutions that they advocate for themselves. So it's really important for us to have women in politics. And how will we make it different? So you saw our strategic goals, the three of them: the accountability, socio-economic, and also women in politics. And how will we do that? We have 6 flagship projects, NALA flagship projects, that we aim to implement, hopefully with your support, with your sisterhood as well, and with solidarity. We will definitely achieve those. So we have the Nalafem Academy. So this academy would focus on delivering inclusive, diverse, and interdisciplinary trainings and fellowships for education through learning, coaching, mentoring, and building communities of change makers, including refugees, displaced, living with HIV, disabilities, among other marginalized groups. Very important for us to provide, assess the needs really first, and then provide what was requested. And definitely, we believe that we should leave no one behind. So we will focus on marginalized groups first, because if marginalized groups actually are addressed, then everyone else will be. Nalafem Index. So this index will track progress made by African member states in the realization of B25 manifesto through generation equality commitments. As of October 2022, no such initiative exists, and this is very, very important. We need to work on the index because that will track the progress. This is also our strategic goal number 1, accountability. So we're very excited for this. We're also relying on our partnerships to make this happen. The third project is multi-generational dialogues for accountability. So by helping to build a relationship of trust with institutions and intergenerational co-leadership, these dialogues would bring all generations to the table to collaborate in the formation and realization of policies and commitments. Definitely, the work and the vision that we envision needs a lot of collaboration and partnerships, and that's why your presence is very important. We will be facilitating multi-generational dialogues, and we will be working together towards ensuring accountability. Our fourth project is Nalafem Fund. So young feminists are too often resourced in ways that are unpredictable and inflexible. And too many of these resources are captured by large and powerful organizations. The Nalafem Fund's sub-grant to young feminist-led organizations hosting fundraising roundtables with funders, as well as mobilizing commitments for the financing of women's rights work to secure continent-wide resourcing for feminist organizing and movement. So we know that now, even in development, there is a lot of work on gender mainstreaming, but we believe that we really need to work, and we really need to invest in feminist work specifically, because gender mainstreaming is amazing, but we need also like young feminists to be driving the change as well. So we really rely on just the flexibility of funders, their vision, and really social justice, and we really hope that we will be the intermediary who can like provide these spaces for young feminists to lead their work. Our fifth project is Nalafem Summit and Awards. So the annual Nalafem Summit serves as a multi-track diplomacy platform to strengthen advocacy and capacity across the collective, expand relationships with decision makers and stakeholders, and political engagement. You will hear from us every year about the Nalafem Summit and Awards, and this is an amazing opportunity to connect and link the collective. When we talk about collective, this is a collective. We will strengthen the work of everyone into a collective, to be streamed into collective work, and that's an amazing opportunity to celebrate that. Nalafem culture. Nala culture will use activism and digital creatives to amplify the work and voices of African women and girls using diverse mediums as tools for advocacy, including performing arts, festivals, podcasts, and Nalafem books. So it is very important that it's not just projects that are implemented, but that there's a whole culture behind that. And this is the feminist values, right? This is the feminist values that we need to act like also how we work. We need to be there. So these are the projects. I'm sure that we will be sharing with you the strategy and the projects online, and also it will come through a newsletter, etc. So we will be very happy to hear from you, to collaborate with you on these projects. We will be very happy also to hear about opportunities of funding, co-creation, working as a collective, etc. So we're really, really happy that we're finally launching this officially. This is a new milestone. So you'll hear a lot from us during the next 5 years, hopefully. So we are gonna go to our speakers officially to have few words from them. I'm not sure if we will have all of the speakers here, but we're gonna try, and I'm gonna check also with our production team to see our council member, Ms. Rosebell Kagumire, a human rights defender and feminist writer from Uganda. Do we have Ms. Rosebell here? Okay, I think Ms. Rosebell is not here, so we might go back if she will be here at some point. Ms. Emma, who is a Nalafem council member, she is a MP, Deputy Minister of Info and Communication and Technology in Namibia. She's the youngest minister in the government, and we're really, really honored to have her as well to bridge the intergenerational gap that we have talked about. She could not be with us today, but we have a video from her that we will play.
Hello there, my name is Emma Theofelus. I'm a Member of Parliament and Deputy Minister of Information Communication Technology in the Republic of Namibia and a Nalafem Council member. On this day, as the 5-year strategy of Nalafem is being launched, is an opportunity for us as young feminists, young people on the continent, policymakers, business owners, have an opportunity to rally around a strategy that is able to bring new ways of interaction and new ways of doing things on the continent. We're recognizing young feminism, gender equality, and many other issues as it is important on the continent today. And I hope that this strategy inspires you to not only collaborate with the feminist collective Nalafem, but also to work towards some of the goals and calls of action that this strategy is meant to achieve. I hope that you continuously advocate for the inclusion of young women in decision-making positions, decision-making tables, places where the empowerment and access to opportunities is available, so that truly we can change the narrative on the continent. Wishing you all a happy Nalafem 5-year strategy launch day.
These were like really, really inspiring words from Emma. We're very honored to have her as a council member, and we're very excited that she could participate as well in this amazing milestone. I'm gonna give the floor to Ms. Pamela. She is the founder of Center of Socioeconomic Transformation. Ms. Pamela, are you here?
I'm here.
Hello. Welcome. We're very honored to have you.
Thank you so much. So yes, thank you so much. I am very honored and thrilled to be a part of this this event, and the conversation keeps going, and I'm very excited that Nalafem is pushing through the work, and it's involving a lot of grassroots organizations to to be involved and to make realization of this goal, which is equity and gender justice, and also making feminism a real thing that we shouldn't be afraid of, we shouldn't be scared as women, especially in Africa. I'm a part of an organization called Center for Socioeconomic Transformation, and I had the honor of getting a grant from Nalafem last year, 2021, and we co-hosted and organized with Nalafem an intergenerational dialogue on gender justice in South Africa. And this conversation did not only spark a debate and realization of a lot of gaps that were in the system, the political system, but it also just tightened the belt on a lot of grassroots organizations to fight for equality and gender equity and gender justice. We also had the honor of getting a lot of women involved and also creating a platform, a safe platform for other women to understand what equality is and what they really stand for in the society. This all happened through Nalafem, and we are so grateful that we managed to work with Nalafem. And today, Nalafem is launching a strategy to carry this conversation forward. And I'm just honored that this is happening, and the work is about to actually continue, I don't know if I should say it like this, it's about to really be the actual thing. And I am so grateful that there's no tiring when it comes to this with Nalafem. There's no tiring. It keeps going and it keeps happening, and we keep getting closer and closer to the actual goal. And I just feel like if we continue doing this, we are going to actually make this realization a thing. And I just recently gave birth to a daughter. I'm actually 20 days postpartum, and I was so scared. And then when I read the strategy, I'm like, there is actually hope, and I cannot be scared anymore. We actually doing this, and I'm so excited, and I'm grateful for Nalafem. The conversation we had, the intergenerational dialogue we had last year, it was really eye-opening. And what is happening right now since that event is very, I can explain what that event did, but up to now, we still talk about that because that is where a lot of things started happening for us. That is where a lot of things started happening for a lot of girls. And I'm just grateful. I'm just honored, and I'm so thrilled that we're continuing. And I really do want other organizations that are watching to partner with Nalafem and fund us to, to help us to continue with this goal and to help us to continue realizing this dream, and including everyone, because we're not leaving everyone behind, and we're going to continue, we're going to fight on. And this is not just a dream, this is actually happening, and we are taking we're taking the road by ourselves, and we're going to be shooting ourselves, and we're not going to be asking for anyone. If they're not going to give us chairs on the table, we are pulling in chairs ourselves, and we're going to sit, and we're going to speak for ourselves, and we're going to make every woman and girl realize that gender equality is not just a dream, and we stand for something in this society. And well, rest in peace, patriarchy. And I just want to say, I'm proudly Nala, and I'm from Center for Socioeconomic Transformation. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Pamela. Such amazing intervention. Thank you so much. And we're doing this together. We're doing this together, and congratulations as well. We're doing this together. We will definitely continue our work towards achieving our goals, even if there is not enough funding, there is not enough spaces. We will create the spaces, we'll create the funding, we will make sure that these goals will be achieved. I would like also to welcome Ms. Twebese. She is the director of East Africa Girl Capital Portfolio. We're so honored to have her with us today to give a few words. Welcome.
Thank you, Suyar. Good afternoon, good morning to you all. Like the speaker before me, Pamela, I too am really honored to be speaking as part of this milestone event. And I think it's impossible to not to feed off her excitement. So I'm happy she went first to give what I'm about to say around CIFF's collaboration here some real texture and content and context. So Really happy to be part of this as you unveil your first strategic plan and share, your inspirational ambition for the next 5 years. Our work as the Children's Investment Fund Foundation, CIFF, is founded on the belief that only when girls, including those most at risk, have equal rights, opportunities, and agency to achieve their full potential, only then can we have resilient, prosperous, and just societies. To this end, CIFF prioritizes improving girls' education, skills development, increasing access to sexual reproductive health and rights, both in terms of knowledge as well as services. We drive for equitable and inclusive economic participation, as well as norm shifts in our communities that will allow not just this generation, but Pamela's daughter and the next generation the opportunity to thrive. CIFF also recognizes the need to support in-country, regional, and global political momentum backed by policy and financial commitments, and for the prioritization of girls and women to be driven by civil society-led accountability, evidence sharing, and narrative and coalition building. So while young people have become critical stakeholders and advocates to promote their rights and the need to be meaningfully engaged in national and regional conversations, we also know and we must appreciate that youth-led organizations still suffer from funding and organizational capacity gaps. So without putting much needed funding towards addressing these gaps, and that includes fit-for-purpose organizational development support, it's clear that despite the passion, despite the commitment, many youth advocacy movements simply won't be able to realize their full potential. So CIFF believes that leveraging youth capital and influence by capacitating local young women-led advocacy and embedding youth in decision-making processes, that's what will drive Africa's efforts in realizing gender equality and related policy implementation. So it's in this context that we're supporting the work of Nalafem to build upon the aspirations of African women as articulated in the Africa Young Women Beijing +25 Manifesto, a groundbreaking feminist political document, as CR mentioned at the beginning, sets out critical issues of concern for young women in Africa and the 10 demands for addressing them. 25 years after the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, the Generation Equality Forum and the resulting action coalition commitments present a key opportunity to further influence implementation of African government commitments on sexual reproductive health and rights, girls' education, economic empowerment, and gender-based violence, as well as promote meaningful participation of youth in national decision-making processes. Several African governments, including Kenya, Ethiopia, Nigeria, and Burkina Faso, all CIFF priority geographies, made ambitious commitments to specific actions outlined in the GEF Global Acceleration Plan, focused on those very things I've just mentioned: advancing bodily autonomy and SRHR, girls' education and economic empowerment, and tackling gender-based violence. While those commitments are ambitious and they are bold, there have been several barriers to youth engagement in the Generation Equality Forum, as well as in the broader decision-making processes for gender equality. And this includes the lack of well-resourced unifying platforms for young women's engagement in Pan-African and global policy initiatives. So with a deep understanding of the potential of well-resourced and organized youth and youth-led movements, CIFF leveraged the opportunity to support and resource NALA to put African governments to task in implementing their GEF commitments and to ensure that GEF decision-making processes at the country level engage young people meaningfully in their implementation. In addition to this, and more broadly, CIFF is committed to supporting youth engagement and generation equality, including via the funding of CSO and youth-led accountability processes, and by uplifting and supporting youth in our dialogues with the Action Coalition on Bodily Autonomy and SRHR, and with the convener UN Women. The Nalafem Index, a project as we saw under Strategic Goal number 1, is a particularly unique flagship initiative. It will pave the way for transparent and collective accountability to track progress made by African member states in the realization of the B+25 Manifesto through generation equality commitments. Today, as Nalafem marks a great milestone in its ambition to grow into a formidable, influential, and forward-looking youth-led organization that seeks to transform Africa's development agenda, we get to see firsthand the transformative impact of well-resourced and coordinated Pan-African youth advocacy. With Africa's youth population expected to make up 42% of the world's youth and account for 75% of those under 35 in Africa by 2030, investing deep and long-term in the power of young people is a sure and big bet for transformation of the continent. So we call upon as many like-minded funders and governments to invest in the power of youth and youth-led organizations as a best buy for the lasting and intergenerational impact that we're all working towards. Thanks very much for allowing us to join you today.
Thank you so much, Twebese. Thank you so much. And we're really, really grateful for the support of CIFF in our work. This wouldn't happen without the support of CIFF. And we're really, really proud that also, and grateful that our donors, they actually believe in our unconventional ways, and they want to invest in unconventional ways of work and youth and women's work. So we're really, really happy. We're really happy with this collaboration. Very, very excited and very proud as well. Thank you also for being here. So we would like to also welcome Ms. Rita Mayumbu. She's representing UN Women. Very happy to have her here. Ms. Rita?
Thank you very much for just inviting me into this space. I'm just wondering where you got that photo. That was many moons ago. But
we will ask our comp team.
No, it's all right. First of all, let me offer my heartfelt congratulations to the launch of your 5-year strategy. This is also an opportunity for us to celebrate your expertise and your convening power as Nalafem and your council. And so deep appreciation for your leadership. I would also just want to affirm your leadership during the launch of Generation Equality. You played such a critical role in strengthening the voices of young women and girls of Africa by highlighting critical issues of concern and making demands for addressing those concerns through your manifesto. You went on to become a commitment maker, and you continue to grow into a powerful intergenerational alliance, pushing for multi-generational dialogues for accountability, a key component of generation equality. This 5-year strategy recognizes the critical importance of expanding feminist and intersectional approaches to decision-making and leadership. And you're doing it through accountability, political leadership, and through feminist agenda setting. And so congratulations to that. Your goal 3 in particular on rising young African women into politics speaks directly to one of the critical elements that we work on as UN Women. We all know that women's leadership and political participation is restricted from the local to the global level. Women are underrepresented as voters and in leading positions despite proven abilities as leaders, as agents of change. Our right to participate equally in democratic governance is severely limited. In fact, as of last month, 13 countries have a woman head of state, and only 15 countries have a woman head of government. And at that current rate, gender equality in the highest positions of power will not be reached for another 130 years. Only 21% of government ministers were women, with only 14 countries having achieved 50% or more in cabinets. Again, at this rate, gender parity in ministerial positions will not be achieved before 2077. If we move down to women in national parliaments, only 26% of national parliamentarians are women. 5 countries have 50% or more women in parliament in single or lower houses. And again, at this current rate of progress, gender parity in national legislative bodies will not be achieved before 2063. Women demonstrate political leadership by working across party lines. We just heard about, I think, one of your earlier Nalafem council member talking from that position of being in parliament. And we know that women work across women caucuses in parliament. Even in the most politically combative environments, they champion issues of gender equality, such as the elimination of gender-based violence, parental leave and childcare, pensions, gender equality laws, and electoral reform, some of the issues that are tackled by your strategy. So balanced political participation and power sharing between women and men in decision-making is critical. There is also growing evidence that women's leadership in political decision-making processes improves them. For example, research on local councils in India discovered that the number of drinking water projects in areas with women-led councils was 62% higher than those with men-led councils. Therefore, it's no-brainer that your goal 3 is critical as it aims to advance substantive representation and increasing meaningful participation, leadership, and decision-making power of women. We commend you for seeking to advance gender parity and the inclusion of women who are historically marginalized in all aspects of their lives. We now join you and all partners, governments, and funders in supporting the critical work of Nalafem in contributing to young women's leadership in political and government institutions, as well as executive and legislative positions. UN Women recognizes your power as a young feminist movement, and we look forward to meaningfully engaging with you more in the next coming phase of Nalafem. So thank you and good luck to all the initiatives that you intend to put in place.
Thank you so much, Rita. Thank you so much. And yeah, we really, really appreciate your support. We really appreciate the support of UN Women as well in achieving our vision, and also like making sure, driving that women are represented in politics and meaningfully represented, meaning that they actually also drive women's rights, not just to have women in politics, but having them there to actually advance women's rights. So thank you so much. We are very proud as well to have Mrs. Olamfunki Barua. She is representing the West Africa Ford Foundation. Can we have Mrs. Olamfunki? Can you hear us? Are you here?
Hello, sir. Yes. Can you all hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay. Good morning. Good afternoon. Whatever part of the planet you're on. I'm really, really glad to be here. I'm not sure you can see my video. Okay.
Yes, you can see you. It's great to see you.
Great to see you all too. And thank you very much. I really apologize for not being in the room. Blame it on multitasking and signing up for too many meetings and just resuming back. Today is my first day after a couple of weeks of leave, so my calendar is all over the place, and we have our colleagues from New York also visiting our port office here. I want to say congratulations to Nalafem. I'm really excited for two reasons. I'm excited, one, because we are at the verge of something remarkable happening in Africa. We are seeing a new generation of young feminists, a new generation of women's rights activists, women and girls who are pushing the boundaries for a new Africa, for the kind of society that we want to see. And one of our strategic priorities here at Ford Foundation is to see that there is an alignment in priorities of both of women's rights organizations, of young feminist organizations, of even established feminist organizations, to see that we have that alignment in our priorities, an alignment in the kind of objectives that we want to see in our program, and also an alignment in what is important as we push forward for gender equality and women's rights. I think that being led by young feminists like you all here is a pointer to that fact that we are seeing an intergenerational baton passing, where we're sure that the work of feminists long before us, may all their souls rest peacefully, and those who continue to do this work does not die, and that we have a sustainability plan for how we want to organize around all our agonies in Africa. That for me is a powerful tool. The second is to see that this is totally driven by young people. I am really happy, and I say congratulations to Aya and the team, and that this is a multi-generational, intergenerational transference of power, of ideologies, and of institutional strength, of the kind of work that we're going to be seeing in the next 10 years coming from an organization like this is going to be massive. I'm proud to be part. I don't know if I'm a member of Nalafem, but I'm proud to be part of the story. I'm proud to be part of your formation. I'm proud to be part of the future of what Nalafem is going to do. Your strategy is really detailed. I have read through it, and I'm really happy, like my colleague who just spoke from UN Women talked about all the priorities that you put in. These are critical issues that we should be looking at as far as organizing around women and girls issues in Africa is concerned. And now my final point would be to say that while we're looking at what's unique to us in Africa in terms of context and in terms of the priorities that we have, we should also have a sort of global outlook, because we're not just operating in a vacuum. We're not an island. Africa is the next frontier. And one of the ways to build the Africa we want to see is to make sure that we bring back the African Renaissance. So we want to be seeing local approaches, local organizing, local efforts with a global outlook, where we want to be able to now export our organizing. I mean, the kind of things that young people are doing across Africa is new, is novel, is inspiring. Young feminists are using media, they're using social media, traditional media, and innovative approaches to things that before now we didn't used to do. That in itself is amazing. And so I want to say thank you. I know you would rather say, oh, we should be thanking for, no, but we want to say thank you that you are helping to bring the dreams of generations yet unborn to the frontier. And that as you work towards implementing this strategy, I'm sure we'll have a review in the next couple of years to see how we're doing. But you're bringing a collective of ideas, a collective of generational ideas, to the fore. And I know that you would also be connecting to other global movements across the world, other feminist global movements across the world, feminist movements at country level and at the local level, and then we can build together. I'm happy that once more, we are organizing rather than agonizing. So from Ford Foundation, say congratulations, thank you very much, and we look forward to continuing to work with you and to support you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Nalafem. Just to respond to your question of if you are a member of Nalafem, of course you are a member of Nalafem. And once you are a member of Nalafem, you're always a member of Nalafem. So we're very happy, grateful to have you on board, to believe in this vision that is really, really challenging, but not impossible. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for being part of this exciting journey, and we wouldn't really be able to do it without you and without your support. Thank you so much.
Thank you for disrupting the status quo. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. We will go now to have few words from a dear council member, Mrs. Rosebell Kagumire. She is a human rights defender and a feminist writer from Uganda. Very excited to have her here today to give few words as well. She's been here. She's one of the creators of this amazing vision and strategy. So we're really happy to have her here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really excited for this launch and to see where we've come from, and to be honored to be a council member for Nalafem and see where we've come from the last 1 year and what we've been able to achieve together, and thankful for the Secretariat really for the hard work. It's been, we were together back in Abuja working on this strategy a few months ago with the fellow council members. It was quite an illuminating exercise we went through, and to get to really focus on the kind of areas we've come to present today, that you've been able to present today. it was really a lot of conversations, what we include, what we exclude, what are we missing. But I'm happy that at the end of the day, the strategy looks the way it is, and we've been able to reflect on that. More important, accountability for African girls and young women in different power rooms, decision-making, and making sure that they are in those rooms and that their voices matter, that they're not just attending meeting after meeting, but that their actual contributions are recognized and respected and incorporated in all the kind of policy decisions that we are seeing, both in country and at the continental level. We also reflected a lot on the violence against women in many of these processes, in many of these areas of political contestation, for example, and how we need to do better at, not just pushing more young women into these places, but to actually lay down strategies of protection and support, because it's still a violent world for young women, and being seen to contest for power ultimately it puts you in harm's way. So to recognize that this is risky business, basically, that many young women really lose their lives, they step back from the work because they are not protected. So making sure that as a movement that we are doing all we can to put in strategies to really not just send people to support them in those areas, but to make sure that they are protected and we have their back, especially in the era of social media, where a lot of on violence aided online and also used as tools to blackmail many young people into silence once they kind of raise their voices at most of the injustices that we are talking about. So I'm really happy about that, but also in terms of the strategies that NALA is adopting, the one thing I'm also very passionate about is knowledge creation and owning our narratives and looking at NALA culture and what that can be for the future, and what kind of, from the book, we just launched a book at the same time, I Am NALA book, and how we can actually curate and document our own stories of struggle and achievement, so that, younger people that come, or even our peers, can read and know that, this is how the journey looks like, and this is what the challenge before us is. So knowledge production is very, very important, in challenging narratives, not just giving counter narratives, but putting our stories as they are and saying, this is the story, this is what we are dealing with, and being able to also contribute to knowledge and leave something to a history that is a man's history on this continent, to continuously leave our footprint and document our own stories. So that's very, very important. And I'm glad that we were able to bring that particular part into the strategy. So thank you so much. I won't take much of the time, but it's been an honor to be part of this journey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Rosebell. And we're very honored to have you. Imagine having you as creating the NALA culture. We're so honored to have you. No one would actually narrate the narrative from a decolonial lens better than you. So happy and very honored to have you. Thank you so much. We would like now to have Mrs. Caroline with us. Okay, I'm just sharing things. Yeah. She's representing UNAIDS, the Joint United Nations Program on HIV and AIDS. Is she here? We're very proud to have her as well to share a few words for the support of UNAIDS to NALA.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Tiwar. And I'm very honored to be part of this strategy launch. And I'd like to first start by congratulating Nalafem team on this milestone, on what you have achieved so far since last year's launch during the Generation Equality Forum, and also for Aya's moderation of the launch of the Education Plus initiative on the margins of the GEF. So in essence, we are growing together on this journey. And so this coalition and building together the power of African women and girls comes at a very critical time for the continent, and we are really excited to be part of this ecosystem with Nalafem, to be doing all this building and coalitions and movements for the continent. And so in putting a bit of a context, we do know that we are living through a pandemic and multiple crises, whether it's health, socioeconomic, financial, and all these are shaking the grounds and all the support we had built over the last decades. And I think now more than ever, we need to pay great attention and invest in the well-being of the African girls. And I think we are reminded of this earlier in the month as we celebrated the 10 years commemorating the International Day of the Girl Child. We did see that there was progress, but enormous challenges still persist on the continent. While these challenges can be found everywhere in the world, the place of the African girls today remains of very great concern. And particularly as I give you a bit of the statistics regarding the HIV pandemic and the African girl, this really drives home the point that a lot of concern remains. So in 2021, every 3 minutes, an adolescent girl or young woman aged 15 to 24 years was infected with HIV in sub-Saharan Africa. 6 in 7 new HIV infections amongst adolescent girls aged 15 to 19 years in sub-Saharan Africa were among girls. This is very clear that there are gender disparities which are very stark, really, on the continent, driving these new infections. We do know that while many countries are putting in place the policies that brought near gender parity in primary school, many girls are still denied secondary education because of poverty, because of gender-based violence and harmful social norms. And as a result, nearly half of the girls aged 15 to 19 are out of school in sub-Saharan Africa. And this situation of girls, making them face multiple marginalizations based on HIV status, migration status, disabilities, is even worse. And we have heard right now from the Nalafem 10 key areas of focus. We do know that lack of access to sexual and reproductive health rights and information keeps most adolescent girls from realizing the full potential, from being in control of their own bodies, and many of them lack the skills to make the informed decisions about their health. Over the COVID-19 pandemic, we saw a huge spike in gender-based violence, in teenage pregnancies, and now it is upon us to help support the revision of strategies that no longer work, because we have to secure the lives of our girls. We have to continue working more on human rights, on feminist approaches, while responding to the needs of the girls that are facing these challenges. And that's why I'm very excited we are here together with this coalition of partners doing exactly that. We know that we have seen governments starting to disband the old policies that denied pregnant girls and teenage mothers access to schools. And others are recommitting to calls made by African women and girls advocates, such as those who are on the call today, who have been calling for the provision of sexuality education, provision of free and quality secondary education, and also calls to destigmatize adolescent sexual health services. But more commitments are needed to make the investments and girls' health and rights a priority on the continent. At Education Plus Initiative, which I oversee, co-led by 5 UN agencies, I'm glad Rita is here, because the 5 UN agencies are UNAIDS, UNFPA, UNESCO, UNICEF, and UN Women. We are working together with African girls networks to ensure that they are driving the change. And we are particularly honored that Nalafem is one of our key partners as more countries continue to roll out the Education Plus initiative. The Nalafem strategy, the 10 focus areas, and the Nalafem Academy speak directly to what Education Plus and partners are working towards. Partnerships such as this with Nalafem are at the heart of the initiative, and we look forward to building and organizing together for young African women's rights. We know that young women's leadership and agency remains stifled in power and decision-making rooms. This must change in order for the policies to reflect the needs and realities of girls. I want to congratulate Nalafem and the whole Nalafem ecosystem, the council members, all other partners once again for bringing this strategy forward and for the work you are doing to hold us and many other actors accountable for girls' well-being. Thank you very much, Nalafem, for this. Over.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Caroline. We are the ones who are honored to have you. And thank you also for mentioning the importance of the intersections of marginalization on women and girls' realities. It's very important, and it's at the core of our work that we focus on the effect of these intersections on women's lived realities. And we're very honored to have you and have UNAIDS as supporters in achieving this mission. Thank you so much. So we will go also to another amazing speaker. Very honored to have such a great turnout today. So we have Mrs. Crystal. She is representing Malala Fund, also one of our supporters and funders. So she shared with us a video.
My name is Crystal Ikani Musa, and I'm the Regional Advocacy Manager for Africa at Malala Fund. We're very excited to see Nalafem's new strategic plan. It's very heavily centered on African girls and women, and this is important. We want to make sure that the voices of African girls and women are heard. Malala Fund is very excited to be sponsoring Nalafem and some of their young women activists to COP27. This is another way that we are committed to ensuring that young girls' voices are being heard on global platforms. So well done, Nalafem, and we look forward to helping you implement this strategic plan.
We're very happy to have our supporters, our funders here give you words. Very exciting. We have Ms. Purity Kagumire from Purposeful, also a great supporter to Nala, an amazing also flexible funder, which we really need flexibility in the feminist movement. Can we have
Yeah,
hello?
thank you so much, Sawa. Hi, hello everyone. I think I'll stay off camera just for the sake of my internet. Yes, you can hear me. All right, thank you everyone, and thank you Nalafem for inviting Purposeful to be part of this 5-year launch of your strategy. Indeed, I was thinking about it and just reflecting what a gift it is to be able to dream of a future that's young, feminist-led and focused. So we at Purposeful celebrate Nalafem Collective and all that you are, all that you represent for young feminists. Indeed, it's a new dawn on the African continent, and we are here for it. Purposeful is a feminist movement building hub for girls and their allies, and we are rooted in Africa and work around the world. We support girls, activists, and their allies to organize at the intersections of multiple movements for justice through a range of collaborative funds that we run at Purposeful and thematic funding windows. We have a track record in experimental and non-traditional grant making to girls and young feminists. And in the last 2 years alone, just in the thick of the COVID pandemic, as we tried to make sense of our world and what the future looks like, we have managed to fund over 500 groups led by girls, young women, and non-binary youth under 30 in over 120 countries. Purposeful sort of prides itself really in just being able to move money to the margins, because for a long time the funding ecosystem has asked the question, where are the young women or the girls? We are not able to find them to fund them, and yet with very little resources we have and effort at Purposeful, we have realized that indeed if you're looking, you will be able to find these groups and be able to fund them in the ways that they are looking to be funded. So at Purposeful, we've also realized that too often girls and young women are separated and sidelined from the resources and shut out from decision-making spaces. Their power is deliberately obscured and hidden from view. And we at Purposeful want to center and work on centering the political power of young feminists so that we can provide the resources, networks, and the platform that they need to power their activism and remake the world. This year, we have partnered with NALA, and we supported NALA Feminist Collective with resources towards their activist awards in Nigeria. We also offered some resources towards generation equality, forum advocacy, and gave some funding for general operation support, which we find really critical when it comes to funding groups led by girls and young feminists, because many funders want to just give money that's focused on projects and forget that as young feminists, as girls organized, they do need to be able to also have a living that is decent and that also allows them to continue sustaining their activism. This year, we've also offered fiscal sponsorship to Nalafem for COP27, and we remain open to exploring other types of partnerships and support. And we are definitely really excited to see what magic continues to come out of our partnership with Nalafem. We definitely realize that initiatives such as Nalafem need more than one type of support at any given time, and we are determined to be here to meet some of these needs, even as our own resources allow. At Purposeful, we are also constantly challenging ourselves on what it means to resource groups like Nalafem with generosity and outside of the set parameters of philanthropy. We are therefore listening to these groups that we fund and are keen to hear what is it that they are defining as their needs in order for them to thrive. And some of the things we've heard from these groups include need for flexible funding, various forms of accompaniment, and shared power and spaces that allow us to speak and hear one another, to be human with one another, and to together dismantle the patriarchy and colonial lenses that have for years been used to fund girls, to fund young feminists, to fund African women. And we are determined to dismantle this so that we create new ways of moving resources to the groups that are at the center of our work. So, and the groups at the center of our work continue to be unregistered groups like Nalafem, groups that have not received funding before from any other funder, groups that are organizing around an issue that could be temporary, and groups that seem like they're too much work for a traditional funder to want to move funding to. We are definitely resolved as an organization, as an institution, to move resources and to meet girls and young feminists where they are with the resources they need. We recognize that it takes lots of courage to build spaces like Nalafem is doing, even as it's articulated through this new strategy, and to dream differently and to challenge the status quo. We know that young feminists are organizing differently, and all of this requires continuous, dynamic, and sustained support. And as such, at Purposeful, we are making long-term commitments to groups and initiatives like Nalafem that we will work with you as you need us to. So please know that our door is open for you to come in. Our ears are open to listen to you, and we are determined to challenge ourselves continuously to meet you where you are in the ways that you define as best for you in our ever-changing world. We are honored to support Nalafem in your journey. That's exciting and scary, that's predictable and sometimes unpredictable. And we also ask other funders in the ecosystem to find ways of trusting girls and young feminists with more resources. And together, let's remake the world with and for girls and young feminists. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Purity. And thank you to Purposeful, really, for stepping in whenever we need creative solutions and creative innovation, really, into just offering, addressing complex problems, and specifically for a collective that is not registered, but we are continuing to work towards our goals. And we are just an example of a lot of women and feminists who are just advocating and working in the field, but they are not registered. So very, very, very grateful to have Purposeful as a supporter on this. We are at the end, really, of our amazing event. We're very grateful to have everyone. I want to invite Ms. Rose, our council member, Ms. Rose, to do the closing. She is the Chief of Staff of She's the Chief of Staff of Justice of the Supreme Court of Kenya, Ms. Rose Washuka. We're really excited to have you here, in this amazing event, to just like close this amazing event on an amazing note.
Thank you so much for that invitation. Greetings from Munyonyo, Uganda. It is actually very inspiring to hear those inspiring messages and to see this strategic direction, this strategic plan come to fruition. Indeed, the future for women and girls, especially African women and girls, has been on the blink of waste from so many quarters. But what is inspiring from this event and from the focus of NALA is that we keep pushing back to reclaim that future and to make sure that we are living to the full potential and possibilities that only we can achieve. And so as young women and girls who live through the different realities of our world, and working really hard to provide those platforms and those opportunities for others and to lift each other as we move, I'd like to thank our partners and fellow council members and AYA for championing and leading this cause in a world that is ever changing. So thank you very much. And I'd like to welcome you to continue walking this cause with us, because indeed we will keep pushing the limits and we will keep walking with those of us who believe in this cause, and we count you all as allies, and really thank you to all African women and girls wherever they are. Indeed, you are powerful beyond measure, and we will continue to champion our collective future together. Thank you very much.
Thank you all. This is a wrap. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you all of the inspiration, of the courage, of all of this engagement. We would love to hear from all of you. Please reach out through our social media, our also emails to start the collaboration and to making this vision, this dream become a reality. So really happy to have you all. And we hope that we're gonna collaborate very soon, definitely, because we share similar vision, similar values. We will definitely keep working towards achieving gender justice and women's rights in Africa and globally. Thank you so much. Thank you.